Good morning. My name is Sam. I am an alcoholic, and I'm also a son of recovery. Let's start out with the Serenity Prayer. Good and gracious God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. I'm reading through Recovery Dharma, How to Use Buddhist Practices and Principles to Heal the Suffering of Addiction, and I'm on the section called Wise Speech. This is the section of the Eightfold Path, and so far we have read about wise understanding and wise intention, and now we're on wise speech. Wise speech is based on the intention to do no harm. We've all used speech in a manner that may create harm, lying to keep others from knowing what's really going on, gossiping with the intention of putting someone down or satisfying our desire to be recognized, stealing time and attention by chattering on and on, or trying to convince others to meet our own needs at the expense of their own. Wise speech includes all the ways we use our voices, including in writing and online. The most basic foundation of wise speech is honesty or truthfulness. Dishonesty is not just outright lies. It can also take the form of exaggeration, minimizing, or omitting, all with the intention of presenting a false picture or distorting what something really actually is. It can take the form of white lies to avoid embarrassment or exposure, half-truths to keep from being caught, or seemingly harmless things said at the expense of the others. We may say more than we really know to be true in the hopes of appearing smarter or more confident in our position or feeling. Sometimes we say something before we know the truth. I definitely have done that before. Dishonesty has to do with our intention in speech. Are we motivated by greed, fear, or confusion? Or are we motivated by a sincere desire to express what's true, what's useful, what's kind, what's timely? Wise speech means we speak with the intention of not causing harm and of fostering safety and security in our community. I love that. Our words can foster safety and security in our community. In active addiction, we develop the habit of dishonesty. That is true. We lie to cover up or mislead others by the nature and extent of our using and behavior. We lie so we can satisfy the craving or fixation feeds. We lie so we can satisfy the craving our fixation feeds by hiding our actions, our feelings, or the amount of money and effort we put into satisfying our craving. Many of us lie just for the sake of lying, because the truth represents a reality we cannot tolerate. We get trapped by our secrets, and for many of us, having a double life becomes an addiction all its own. This is why honesty is foundational to recovery. Dishonesty is one of the habits that allow our addictive behaviors to flourish. As a result, recovery needs to start with an honest appraisal of exactly what lies we told and what dishonesty we spread during our addictive behavior. Sounds to me like a fourth step, very similarly at least. The Buddha provided some guidelines for wise speech in addition to truthfulness. He said to avoid slander and gossip, recognizing that such unwise speech causes conflict and makes the community less safe. So, when we talk about others, we can ask ourselves, what's our intention? Is it to cause division or exclusion? Is it to cause shame or embarrassment in someone else, or to somehow make ourselves look better at someone else's expense? It's possible to talk about other people with the intention of kindness, generosity, and compassion, to seek understanding or support from another. Gossip and slander don't do this, and instead cause harm. Similarly, idle chatter and saying things just to be heard or recognized or to take up time when we're uncomfortable can lead people to dismiss or ignore us and may create impatience and intolerance in a community. Wise speech also involves the tone we use when we talk. If we express ourselves in harsh, angry, or abusive ways, we may not be heard even when we're being truthful. Speaking gently with the intention of kindness fosters a community of friendliness and safety. It may sound like wise speech is primarily about discerning when not to speak, but this isn't always the case. Many of us grew up in families where it wasn't safe to talk openly about our thoughts and feelings. Some, because of certain experiences or cultural conditioning, have been taught that we don't have permission to use our voices. For many of us, practicing wise speech may mean learning how to use our voices that have been silenced, how to wisely communicate the needs and boundaries we've gotten used to keeping hidden. Many of us, in an effort to be liked or for fear of rocking the boat, have favored being nice over being honest and true to ourselves. But wise speech teaches us that speaking up, even when it's hard, is sometimes a wise choice, and that speech is never truly kind if we cause harm to ourselves. That is really important. I do like this line of favored being nice over being honest and true to ourselves. A final part of wise speech is careful listening. We must listen with compassion, understanding, and receptivity. It can be really helpful to observe how much of the time we spend listening to someone else is actually spent judging them or planning what we're going to say in response. That is true. Deep listening, without selfishness or an agenda, is an act of generosity that lets us build true connection. So that is wise speech. Deep listening, without selfishness or an agenda, is an act of generosity that lets us build true connection. I'm trying to think back on times where there may have been deep listening. I mean, I have those moments where I realize, you're making a really deep connection with someone. But they're few and far between, that's the truth. That is something I need to work on. I love all this stuff about we speak with the intention of not causing harm. How they talk about that so much through this section, not causing harm with our words. And that it does often also involves the tone of how we're talking. That's really important to remember, is my tone and how I'm speaking to people. And that the most basic foundation of wise speech is honesty or truthfulness, and that's it. It's just about being honest and truthful. So tomorrow I'm going to go on to wise action. And possibly wise livelihood. So we'll see. But today's prayer. Take time. Today, I pray that I can take time to think. It is the source of power. Take time to play. It is the secret of perpetual youth. Take time to read. It is the fountain of wisdom. Take time to pray. It is the greatest power on earth. Take time to be friendly. It is the road to happiness. Take time to laugh. It is the music of the soul. Take time to give. It is too short a day to be selfish. Take time to work. It is the price of success. And take time to do charity. It is a key to heaven. So with that, as always, please leave any comments, questions, or thoughts, as I love conversation with others and deepening our connection with each other. And I hope you all have a blessed day. Thanks.